Hello, this is Denton Yoder, the instructor for BSE 2304, the Biological Systems Engineering CAD class. This is Lab 1. What we're going to do here is download AutoCAD Civil 3D and look at the default configuration and what we can do to make it more usable. If you go to Autodesk.com, there is a section called Student and Educators. When you create an account, I'm already signed in. When you create an account, you will have access to free software. In the free software, the defaults are listed, and if you scroll down, there'll be an alphabetical listing. Under the A's is AutoCAD Civil 3D. For our class, we'll be using the latest version. The 64-bit Windows is the only supported operating system, and we'll download that and install it. Once installed, you will have several icons. If I look at in the A's, Autodesk AutoCAD Civil 3D, and the year, which will change every year, there are two main icons we're concerned with. The red A is Civil 3D as AutoCAD, or I'm going to call that plain vanilla AutoCAD. And then for our class, we will be using Civil 3D Imperial, the first blue AutoCAD. We will be using both of these. For the first 2 weeks, we'll use the red one. Then we will use the Civil version. If you right-click on these, you can pin them to your taskbar or to your start menu, or make a copy of them, whatever you want to do. You'll also want to note that at the bottom is a reset settings to defaults. The reset settings will be important. Someone will lose one of their toolbars and not be able to get it back, or lose their command area. We can always reset everything to the defaults. Okay, firing up AutoCAD. I actually have it running here, and it is set to the defaults. Okay, so once we are in AutoCAD, the very first thing we are going to want to do is to tweak this version to be our version. If you look at the bottom, you should have a gear icon, your current workspace, and we want to save our current workspace, and using your name would make sense, or you can call it whatever you'd like to call it. Once you have a new workspace that is checkboxed as current, you can set it as current if you wish by clicking it. We also want to go into the workspace settings and make sure that our changes are automatically saved to our workspace. So I'll do an OK on that. Now the changes we make will automatically come back whenever we use AutoCAD again. One of the things I like to do first is move the command area toolbar. It gives you a one-line toolbar at the bottom of the screen, and it pops up every once in a while, moves around, things like that. I like things to stay where I put them, and I like them to be where I put them. On the left end of this is a area you can grab the toolbar, and if you bump it into the bottom of the screen, it'll spread out across the whole screen. Let go of it, and you can adjust it taller. I like to have at least 2 or 3 command lines visible. This is a couple lines of command history that you are in control of. Okay, another setting I like to do is I like to have a menu bar at the top. Right now it just has ribbon menus, which quick access ribbon menus make sense, but if you are trying to find something and you don't know where it is, the old menu bars are easier. If you type in the word menu bar, M-E-N-U bar, it says the current value is 0. I'm going to change it to 1. This will give me pull-down menus at the top of the screen. Okay, now that I have my menu bar, I noticed when I typed, like if I was to type L for line, I see it's coming up on the screen. That is a function that I don't really like. So I'm going to escape out and change it. The bottom of the screen, I have settings that I can turn on and off. I only see a few of them. The 3 dashes at the end of the line is the customization screen, which allows me to turn them all on. If you have space, you'll probably want them all. If you don't have space, you can turn some of them back off. Now, I'm really not going to do much with units or annotation or a bunch of these settings, but I just turned them all on. My primary reasoning is that I want to find dynamic input and turn it off. So by turning on all the choices, I can now go across the bottom and see dynamic input is blue, and if I click it, it'll be off. Now when I type L for line, it'll type it on the command line area instead of on the middle of the screen. That's my personal preference. If something doesn't work the way you think it should, or that I'm directing it to in class, if you use the same settings I'm using, they should work the same. You probably also want to turn off most of the things that are highlighted, especially in the first section, until you learn how they function. Once you learn how they function, they're great to use, but they can be confusing until you know what they are. Okay. Another thing we want to do in here is get some graphical toolbar menus. Now, if I type in toolbar and hit enter, I will get a graphical menu of all the toolbar choices that are available. An easier way that I found to do this is to do the command line version of toolbar. If I put a minus sign in and then toolbar, I will get the command line version, all, show. I just turned on all the toolbars on the system. That might be excessive. I'm going to hit enter to repeat the previous command, all, hide. Now enter to repeat the previous command, draw, show. I now have the draw toolbar, and I chose that because it was an easy one for me to remember. Now, to turn on other toolbars, once you have one toolbar available, you're golden. You can have as many toolbars as you want at this point. Right-click on the existing toolbar, and you'll get a list of toolbars. So, for example, I might go to Layers and get the Layer toolbar, or right-click on that one, 3D Navigation. I like 3D Navigation. It's fun to use. Right-click on that. I like, oh, let's see, what do we have down here in the bottom? We have visual styles. That gives me shading and things. We'll get into that much later. We have the view toolbar. And you'll find which toolbars you prefer, and you can turn them on. And because our settings are stored and saved with the gear icon, we're golden. If we wanted to go back to the defaults, we could always go back to drafting annotation and get the defaults, but we have our own personal settings stored. Okay. Another one to look at is I often use the map menu, but I'm not seeing the map menu. There's a command called menu load, all one word, and if you type in map classic and hit load, close, I now have the map pull down tools, and I also have the map classic toolbars available. Now I just showed you something else new that I hadn't talked about. Not only can you right click on a menu, on a icon menu, and see the list of icon menus that are in that menu, there's a docking area. Once you dock a toolbar, the docking area is visible. If you right click there, you can see all the available menus and choose between which menus you want to have opened up. Okay, I think that's it for the interface. Have a good one and play with it. See which toolbars you like. Make sure you can control them. Make sure you hit the gear before and set your own settings before you work on it too much. Have a good one. Bye.